Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Addiction Solutions with Roselle. So glad that you could join me for another episode. I am so appreciative of you guys going to YouTube and going to my channel and viewing the videos. Really appreciate that. And I always say at the beginning of every show, go to your family, your friends, neighbors, co-workers, church members, and let them know about the Addiction Solutions with Roselle. As I always say, you do not have to be addicted to drugs and alcohol to be addicted. There are other addictions, and I try to cover them all in my videos. I talk about gambling, I talk about sex, I talk about overeating, I talk about shopping, credit cards, all of the addictions that can destroy our lives. And believe me, they are a number of them. And I also talk about help for the family. Yes, there are support groups for family members of people who are addicted. So in those videos, you will be able to get that information. So we have been covering the 21-point manual that I wrote, but I have not yet published. And before I get into it, again, I want to talk about my two books. And you can go to Facebook, Messenger, and you can go to email. And if you got a pencil, I'll give you my email address. It's Roselle, ROZELLE White, WHITE, at Y, just the letter Y, mail.com. Email me and tell me you'd like a copy of 366 Days of Recovery or 365 Days of Recovery. And it's better to order the book through me because this way I can autograph the book for you and get it out to you. And when you contact me, I'll give you all of the necessary information. That way you will know how to go about obtaining the book. So let's get into the 21-point manual. Last week we talked about chapter 14, which was making a short attainable list of goals, things that you would like to attain. Chapter 15, and I'm going to read it because you guys allowed me to read it because I can't memorize the synopsis. But anyway, these are synopses of the chapters. So chapter 15 says, do not force your recovery on your loved ones. Give them time to accept the new you. Your families know who you are and what you have done. Do not stick your chest out and brag about your recovery. Remember, we only have a day at a time. If you are not doing any of the things we discussed in the previous chapters, it is a possibility you could be in relapse mode. Take it easy. Your family will see the change in you. You do not have to broadcast the news to them. Now, how important is this? It's very important because relapse does not have to happen, but it does. And it happens more than what you think. While I was in college, my master's degree, my thesis titled was Why Substance Abusers Relapse After Long Periods of Sobriety. And I'm going to get into some of the questions that I asked on that thesis in some of these videos. Once I complete the 21-point manual, then I will probably go into that and give you an idea of why just because you attain a few months, years, that you can't relapse. That's ridiculous. So this chapter, once you read it, and once I decide to maybe publish this manual or not, once you read this, you will understand that it could happen to anyone. And guess what? Relapse happens more when things are going good than when they're going bad. People generally know how to get through bad stuff. But the celebrations, birthdays, anniversaries, promotions, raises, going on vacation, all of these things are, they are warnings or, that, hey, You've arrived. You've made it. Hey, just one won't hurt. And we always know one is too many. 1,000 is never enough. Once we get started, once we open that Pandora box up again, we are hit. So now what do you think the family's going to say? Because they know you. They knew me. I went to treatment 17 times. Every time, except for the 17th, I told them I was done. I'm not going to use anymore. I've seen the light. Oh. And around 11 or 12, they didn't believe me anymore. Around 8 or 9, they stopped visiting. The first 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, they like, okay, we know it's hard, okay. But after a while, man, they was just like, hey, so then 17, I came up out of there. I didn't know. I went to a halfway house. That was a different step for me, seeking additional treatment, because that additional treatment consisted of outpatient treatment. I was in a recovery environment, even though I went into that facility with a dirty drug screen, because yes, when I went there for my interview on the way back to the hospital, I stopped and got high again. And get back to the hospital, all the nurses, they got balloons and cakes and they jumping up and down. They so happy. And here I am looking out the window saying, wow, I've done it again. And so the next day I go and act like nothing's happened. But that Tuesday, my drug screen came back, the results, and it was dirty. By the grace of God. By the grace of God, they didn't throw me out. They put me on restriction for maybe 90 days. I forget how many days it was, but I couldn't leave the facility. I couldn't receive phone calls unless it was a dire emergency, and I couldn't make phone calls. So, from that point, it saved my life. But I didn't say nothing to my family. They seen time go by. They seen things happen. They seen me get jobs. They seen me go to school. They seen me get education. They seen me get more jobs. They seen me get a car. They seen me get clothes. They seen me get jewelry. They seen me get a house. Things just went on and on. Why? Because I wasn't using. I didn't have to brag. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to end it here. And we're going to come back next week and we're going to do chapter 16. And so we're going to talk about friendships. So what I want you to do, stay blessed. I love you, and I'll see you next week.